Let's decode the deep and haunting world of Joseph Conrad, one of the most profound voices in early modernist fiction. Born in 1857 in Poland and exiled from Russian control, Conrad had anything but a typical literary upbringing. English was actually his third language. Yet somehow, he became one of the most stylistically rich writers in the language. Before turning to the pen, he lived life on the sea, and that experience stayed with him. In fact, the ocean in his works isn't just scenery, it becomes a metaphor, a vast, mysterious force symbolizing isolation, fate, and the terrifying unknown. His literary journey stretched across 30 years, from 1895 to 1930. In that time, he gave us over 40 works of fiction, including 20 novels and 26 short stories. His debut novel was Almayer's Folly, published in 1895, and his final completed work was The Rover, which came out in 1923. At the time of his death, he was working on a novel titled Suspense, which remained unfinished. Pause here and note this down. UGC NET has asked chronological type questions from his works, so remembering the order is crucial. And here's where it gets fun. We've built a mnemonic code just for you. Alma is an outcast nigger whose unrest and his heart is dark like Lord Jim. Lord Jim inherits Typhoon Castle, called Nostromo. There lived secret agent who spy under Western Eye. Let's decode it together. Alma, Almayer's Folly, outcast, an outcast of the islands, nigger, the nigger of the Narcissus, unrest, tales of unrest, heart is dark, heart of darkness, Lord Jim, well that one's obvious, inherits, the inheritors, Typhoon, written in 1899, published 1902, Castle called Nostromo, 1904, Secret Agent, The Secret Agent, 1907, Spy under Western Eye, Under Western Eyes, 1911. Trust me, once you say it a couple of times, it sticks. Now here's something you probably didn't know. Conrad didn't work alone on all of these. He collaborated with Ford Madox Ford on 3 works, The Inheritors, Romance, and The Nature of a Crime. Their partnership blended Conrad's depth with Ford's modernist experimentation. Let's take a closer look at some of his major writings. His novella Heart of Darkness, published in 1899, is a haunting psychological journey into colonial Africa. The sailor, Charles Marlowe, narrates his voyage up a dark, unnamed river, probably the Congo, while on board a ship called the Nelly. His tale centers on an ivory trader named Kurtz, whose descent into madness exposes the darkest corners of human nature. Kurtz's final words, the horror, and the chilling phrase, exterminate all the brutes, from his report have become iconic. And here's something you'll love. Marlowe meets Kurtz's fiancée and lies about Kurtz's final words. A moment layered with guilt, illusion, and empathy. Another monumental work is Lord Jim, published in 1900, which explores guilt, redemption, and the price of honor. Jim is a young seaman who abandons a passenger ship, the Patna, carrying pilgrims to Mecca. Though the passengers survive, Jim is consumed by shame. He seeks redemption in Patusan, a remote village where he earns respect. Marlowe, again our narrator, says he was one of us, reminding us that Jim's inner conflict is universally human. In the end, Jim chooses to die with dignity, facing the consequences of his actions. Then comes Nostromo, A Tale of the Seaboard, a richly layered novel about greed, imperialism, and betrayal. And let's not forget The Secret Agent, published in 1907. Set in London in 1886, this novel follows the mysterious Mr. Verloc. Dedicated to H.G. Wells and influenced by Dickens' Bleak House, it offers a chilling take on terrorism, espionage, and paranoia in the modern city. Next, we enter the cold and conspiratorial world of Under Western Eyes, published in 1911 and set between St. Petersburg and Geneva. This novel critiques both the brutality of revolutionaries and the corruption of autocratic regimes. It's deeply psychological, political, and reflective classic Conrad. Now, here's a golden nugget. An outcast of the islands is quoted in T.S. Eliot's famous poem, The Hollow Men. The line, "Life is very long," comes directly from Conrad's work, showing his influence across genres and generations. And before we move on, let's not overlook his fascinating short story collection, Tales of Unrest, published in 1898, containing 5 intense stories: Carine, A Memory, The Idiots, An Outpost of Progress, The Return, and The Lagoon. These stories reflect themes of colonial decay, moral uncertainty, and the breakdown of rationality. This was asked in June 2025. Here's another memory quote to help lock in his works. Conrad has a chance of victory in the shadow line created by Arrow of God. This helps you link chance, victory, the shadow line, and indirectly the colonial themes also tackled in Achebe's Arrow of God. And yet another line, Conrad rescued from a crime of rover suspense. That one ties together rescue, the rover, and suspense, his final and unfinished work. Critically, Chinua Achebe called out Conrad's Heart of Darkness in the essay An Image of Africa, arguing it contained deeply racist representations. This is important for post-colonial perspectives. Asked in exam, and Edward Said responded with his classic work Joseph Conrad and the Fiction of Autobiography, published in 1966. Meanwhile, F.R. Leavis, in the great tradition, included Conrad as one of the great English novelists alongside Austen, Eliot, and James. Can you see the layers now? Conrad wasn't just a storyteller, he was a moral cartographer, charting the deep waters of guilt, empire, and the human soul. So, before you watch the next video or attend the MCQs on Conrad, please download this PDF diary note and write down on your diary. Exactly like this. So, in our next session, we will take on Rudyard Kipling.